Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now today, very exciting, in my hands here, a custom built knife by one of my favorite designers, Dirk Pinkerton. Now, if you're not familiar with Dirk Pinkerton, well, I've taken a look at a number of his products in the past from various makers such as, well, here, Artisan Cutlery, Kaiser Knives. So at this point, I mean, Dirk's designs to me really call out for a number of reasons. It is literally the perfect middle ground between good quality utility purpose, but also that little bit of a tactical and self-defense feel. And well, I have custom ordered literally my very first custom knife directly from Dirk, and it has arrived. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a look at this in detail. I've been waiting for this for a while, but we're gonna go through all of the features and how I was able to custom order this. Literally, like the entire thing you're able to select, and I am absolutely just thrilled to have this in my hands, and I cannot wait to share this with you. But with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. And so yes, in my hands, this here, a custom knife from Dirk Pinkerton. Now, Dirk is a guy who I have at this point had a number of opportunities to sort of work with. I've done some projects with him, a couple of interviews. I covered him at Blade Show 2021 down in Atlanta. Dirk's designs absolutely fantastic. And the one that I selected, the Razorback Bowie. To me, it's going to be that perfect middle ground again between a good, hard, utility-driven knife, but also one that has some tactically inspired features. And so, well, without further ado, it's only fitting to use one of Dirk's designs to open one of Dirk's designs, but let's take a look at this and get into this unboxing. And so as I mentioned, I did have the ability to pick pretty much literally every single feature. First being the actual model. So keep in mind, again, this is the Razorback Bowie. Very exciting. I bought this from Dirk months ago. This is at least about a 6-month, roughly, 6-month process about that. And well, here, the moment of truth. Ba-boom. Here in this Kydex, Dirk makes his own Kydex, and here, the Razorback Bowie. So the first thing, of course, the model. The second thing is the size. There are a number of different sizes that you can get. I went with the 8-inch model because, well, I do a lot of fire prep, a lot of woods craft. And I thought having a slightly larger knife was going to be fantastic. And so, first thing, I love the huge number of rivets on this Kydex. Absolutely awesome, nicely made, very simple, but at the same time, effective. This is going to be a great option, and he sizes the eyelets to be able to hold different types of sort of belt connectors. And well, here we go. Whoosh. The Razorback Bowie. Look at this. So this here is in 80 CRV2. Again, you do have the ability to select your steel, and I went with 80 CRV2. And there are a number of features. I'm going to walk through this entire thing. I literally personally selected pretty much every single component to how this was built. And man, absolutely sick. Look at this thing. I mean, really beautiful, this aggressive design, nice weight, perfectly balanced, feels great in the hand, and what a gorgeous piece. So let's get this camera positioned and go through all of these details. And so here, as we get into this again, the Razorback Bowie, this is an 8-inch model. So as you see here, pretty much, I mean, a little bit larger than that 8 inches, so 8 1/4. Do have roughly about a 1-inch finger choil, so I get around 7 inches of effective cutting edge. I was able to again select the steel, so this is in 80 CRV2. Now the other thing was I was able to select the thickness. So the thickness on this is roughly a 3/16 of an inch or 0.190 inches. So that is another thing that I was able to select. I thought this was going to be about that perfect middle ground to keep the knife nice and wieldy and really efficient, yet at the same time capable of doing some good hard work. And now, even though this is handmade by Dirk Pinkerton, there is one aspect of this that he does require to outsource, and that is the heat treat. So the interesting thing is I was even able to go down to detail as to select the HRC. So this 80 CRV2 is 58 to 60 HRC. Now, he does really ask you what's your intended use. What do you want to use this blade for? And he gives you some guides and recommendations. So we did settle on 58 to 60 HRC. He says this should be closer to 60. So it is very hard, but at the same time, should have good edge retention. And the 80 CRV2 should be nice and durable, capable of really taking a beating, and that is a great steel for a larger knife, so I am very excited to see how this performs. The edge, absolutely ridiculously sharp, and well, I am certainly a hairy dude, and well, you can see here, I mean, that's no joke, gonna shave with ease. So absolutely ridiculous how sharp that is. That edge is scary sharp. Now the next thing is picking the grind. I went with a saber grind, and even at that, I could pick the height of the grind. So I went roughly 2/3 to 3/4 of an inch. He does provide you with some drawings and the ability to really choose where that grind goes. So I was able to select it, and I thought for that purpose, really having the flat grind up to roughly about that 2/3 or 3/4 mark would be about perfect. I do a huge amount of batoning, so that is going to be key to wedge down through the wood, yet at the same time maintains a knife that's fairly slicey. Now the next thing is, this is originally designed with more of a sharpening choil, but I did want to go with a full finger choil. So here, a nice generous finger choil that's going to allow me to get up on the blade and really get closer for those fine detailed tasks. Feeling absolutely wonderful. Nicely rounded off inside there. So I'm not going to say fully chamfered, but rounded off. Nice and smooth, so it's not going to create any hot spots while you work in that choil, and that actually feels really good. Now the next thing, which is a very interesting detail, is how deep the plunge line is into the finger choil. So like theoretically, I could have run the plunge line all the way out, all the way in. I did not want to bear on thin material, and I usually like my finger choil plunge line roughly 2/3 of the way through the choil, so very nice. That's giving me a good amount of meat on the back side of that choil, where at that point, just indexing and getting in there, that's not going to create any hot spots or fatigue, and it's not going to bother me at all. So nicely done, and really cool that you can go to this level of detail. Now at this point, I'm starting to get my fingerprints all over this, which is fine. I mean, this is something that I'm going to definitely use, but take a look at the satin finish there. Nicely done. You'll notice it is, first off, satin finish in the vertical direction on your primary grind, and then on the flats, it's horizontal. Beautifully done. Nice straight lines all the way down the knife. Couple cool transition points. The fit and finish, absolutely fantastic. Little subtle detail as you look on the underside, 80 CRV2, so you can see it is engraved. And then on the side, you do have Dirk's logo. So there, right on the side of the blade, you can see his logo. Now getting into the rest of the details, well, I could also select literally the balance point. And well, let's see how we did. I asked for a neutral balance sort of around the finger choil. And as we lay that out, look at that. My finger is literally right on that finger choil, and that is literally perfectly balanced. And so you can literally even choose if you want handle weighted or blade weighted. I asked for neutrally balanced, and I'd say Dirk nailed it. Look at that. Now next on the handle, selecting the handle material. So I decided to go with a blue jean denim micarta, which I thought would look absolutely awesome. And then selecting the liners, well, I went with white liners and then a black liner just to get a little bit of separation off the polished tang. You know, able to select everything from the fit and finish and everything you're looking for, and just the ability to kind of tweak out the liners. I thought that would be a nice, cool look. I do tend to like white liners, and especially against the blue, I think that looks absolutely amazing. Now, some additional details. I had the ability to choose whether or not the handles were literally epoxied to the tang or bolt-on removable. I also had the ability to choose between a bead blasted or polished handle scales. Now, you'll notice, even though this is a custom knife, I actually opted for more of a utility-driven sort of finish with the bead blasted and then the bolt-on scales. Personally, this to me is going to be a hard user. I am going to use this extremely hard, and I really wanted the grippiness that you get from the blasted scales versus the polished. So that to me, I like. And if you've heard me talking in the past, I do love myself some good hard use patina. So if these get a little bit of patina over time, that to me is only going to enhance the qualities in this knife. But then again, the ability to remove the scales and put them back into place. The last thing I wanted to find is with batoning and kind of, hammering on this knife, that I have potential problems with the scales shifting. Even if you go with pins and epoxy, that can be a problem from time to time. It's a mechanical connection and that can fail. So I did opt to go with the bolted scales so that if I have to, I can take the scales off and then realign them. Getting into that, everything perfectly machined and finished off and sanded. You can see just contoured together, just absolutely wonderfully. So perfectly done, everything nice and flush. Perfectly to the tang of the knife. No lips, no bumps, no hiccups whatsoever. Everything done absolutely fantastic. And then again, back to some of the subtle details, even being able to select the location of the lanyard hole. So you can see here, I opted to put it towards the bottom. I could have picked any location. I like my lanyard holes towards the bottom, so that's exactly what we got. One place where, just being a little bit nitpicky, and this is sort of a personal preference thing, I probably would like these edges just to be softened out a little bit on the handle. That's easy, just to kiss that with a little bit of sandpaper. It's just a touch blocky for my taste, but at the same time, not a big deal. It actually strikes the balance between a tactical knife, which is really going to sit nice and flat. For example, if you look at like your slab-sided Essies, they sit flat. Different knives like that, more combat-inspired knives, are typically slab-sided. And then knives with a palm swell. You'll notice not too much in the way of the palm swell, but not a big deal. This actually indexes amazing, feels great in my hand, and this handle length is ideal. If you look at how this fits in my hand, absolutely perfect to like within the inch. I mean, just absolutely perfectly indexing, feels great. And the nice thing about Dirk's designs, well, they're usually multi-positional grips. So you'll see here, flipping that around, getting it really over the top, thumb on top for stabbing tasks. I mean, that's what I'm saying, striking the balance in these designs between utility-driven purpose and tactically inspired knives. I love that about Dirk's designs, and that's absolutely the case here with the Razorback Bowie. And so all in all, very exciting. I'm thrilled to have this in my hands. This was just a preliminary look at this, a discussion about some of the process, how it was to work with Dirk, and the types of things he allows you to select. I enjoyed the process very much. He was very easy to work with and was responsive. I did literally everything through Instagram. So if you are interested in checking out Dirk's work, do me a favor, take a look at his information. I have the links below. He has some really awesome designs, many different designs, both in terms of his sort of custom knives, but then also the production models. And well, some of his production models you can also get as a custom, which I think is really neat. So moving forward, we're going to get this out into the field. This is just the first of many times this knife is going to show up. This for me is going to be a good hard user. I'm going to absolutely abuse this in a good way. And that to me is the enjoyment of a large fixed blade capable of doing hard use and striking the balance between the wilderness woodscraft application and that tactical look and feel. And so if you like this content, do me a favor, take a look at my Outer Limitless 2 channel, which is more about the tactical and firearms side of things. If you like what you see here, I have a number of videos up on Outer Limitless 2, so do me a favor and check it out. And finally, I'd like to say again, thank you very much, Dirk, for working with me on this project. I'm glad to be a customer. Again, this being my very first custom knife. I greatly enjoyed the process. I love this knife. It's going to be at my side a lot of the time now. And well, I just cannot wait to put this to good hard use. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.